Classic Game Room is brought to you by Magnum Skywolf. CGR is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where you know I love games that have an in the title. This is Lock and Chase for the Game Boy, which is really good. I know that typically I'm going on and on about the Sega Genesis and the Vectrex and the Atari 2600, but the more time I spend with the Game Boy, the more that I come to appreciate its incredibly deep and eclectic library filled with wonderful games and hidden gems like this. Lock and Chase for the Game Boy is not only one of the best Game Boy games I've played this year, it's one of the best games I've played this year. I used to have this way back when on my Atari 2600, in fact I still do. Don't confuse this version of the game with that one, they're very different. This is based on Data East's 1981 arcade game, Lock and Chase, which is, like so many games back in the day, a Pac-Man clone. But I've always thought it was one of the best Pac-Man clones, and this is like a reboot of Lock and Chase. That feels refreshingly new even though it was released well over 20 years ago. I've been playing this quite a bit lately, and as you can see I recorded footage for this review using the old school Game Boy, Game Boy Advance SP, and the Retron 5. It plays really well on all of those. Like I've said before, Game Boy games are best on the original Game Boy when they don't have a lot of motion, so a relatively simple Pac-Man clone like this plays pretty well on it. What you do may seem fairly simple at first. You gobble dots or coins and avoid the police. Occasionally, money bags will appear in the middle of the screen, collect them for bonus points, and yes, they do increase in value. Also, watch out for that gem that appears in the middle of the screen, which acts as a power pellet, and you can cash those in at the slot machine in between levels. But what really impresses me the most here with this version of Lock and Chase, above and beyond even the playability of the game and the excellent music, is all the little gimmicks that they were able to shove into these levels to enhance the gameplay. Like, it was already good, and now it's better. I love the little buttons where you shrink and swap the police. There's alarm clocks, magic doors, and of course, don't forget to lock the police. Trap them behind closed doors so they can't chase you. The animation quality is spectacular and very clever. I love the guy's little feet and his hat in between levels. He takes some mode of transportation to the next bank that he's about to rob. This whole game has a nice attention to detail. And who doesn't love a good slot machine where you can score some bonus lives? Game of the Year contender for 2016? I think so. I mentioned the music earlier, but let's really listen to it here on the Retron 5 in stereo. It's fabulous. To sweeten the deal for you, to make this even better, Lock and Chase doesn't even cost all that much online. You can easily pick up a copy on eBay for a few bucks, and if you do shop through the ClassicGameRoom.com website, it doesn't cost you any more, and it helps the show. Lock and Chase. You absolutely must have this game in your Game Boy collection. It's so good this is worth buying a Game Boy Advance SP, which you should have anyway because the Game Boy Advance SP is amazing. Still my favorite handheld. It's even better than the Gamecom. Maybe not at killing people, but it's definitely better at playing games, and like so many other games here on Classic Game Room, I have a shout out and thank you to send to Mark and Suzanne from East Meadow, New York. Again, thank you. You always have great taste in games, and this is just a terrific Game Boy find. And the fact that it's not rare and doesn't have Zelda means it's cheap. Magic doors! This game has everything. Lock and chase. Chase and lock your way to the Game Boy. Highly recommended. Thank you for watching. Follow Classic Game Room on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Don't miss Magnum Skywolf, also on Patreon. Welcome to the club. It's the Lord Carnage Club, where I celebrate these backers on Patreon by shouting their name in a volcano. Introducing Michael Fernandez. Oh yeah! Michael Nelson! Lord Carnage approves. Jim. Moriarty! Sergio Matthias! Hergert! Jason from Kamloops, British Columbia. Fizzy! Signal! Al Siver! Sean Zoltek. I'm just kidding again. Sean Zoltek! Stephen Chucknick from New Jersey. Landon Ellerbe! He's the administrator of these credits. Philipp Straubenmueller of Vienna, Austria. Woo! Jack Stavris from Australia, home of Mad Max. Ohad Kane! Cue the thunder. Jeff, Captain Dauntless, Briar, Ric de Barros. Out of sight. Will. Kid, Shuriken, Fatality. Ship, Senkbeil. That was too evil, wasn't it? Let's try that again. Ship, Senkbeil. See you next time on Classic Game Room. Thanks for watching.